Welcome back to Sectional Titles Advisory Centre with me, 𝗛𝗀𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗄𝗏. In our first episode, we shook the table just a bit and learned that the old way of owning apartments through management companies is now legally obsolete. But today, we shall move to the reality on the ground, the conversion crisis, for those who are holding on to subleases that are legally frozen. To delve into this matter again, we have our return client, for lack of a better word, 𝗛𝗀𝗆𝗵𝗆𝗆, who shall help us understand what this means for you as an apartment owner. Hassan, after our first episode, the feedback was unanimous. The people felt as if they've not gotten enough of your legal expertise. So we've brought you back for exactly that, for you to help us dive into this conversion crisis.
It's a pleasure once again, Mercy, to be here and to shed more light on the gray areas. So thank you once again for hosting me.
Hassan, let me take you back to the very beginning for someone who does not understand what conversion is. With reference to apartments and this concept of old subleases, what is conversion?
Thank you, Mercy. Remember we said we had mentioned that for subleases that are 21 years and above, there is a requirement that you have to make an application for conversion of that particular title. And therefore, what does conversion mean in simple terms? It simply means you are updating your records into the digital platform. Remember, we had the manual system, the manual register, but now you want to put things into the actual digital register. So in simple terms, it just means digitalizing things.
Okay. So it means just from moving from manual paper
from manual to the, I like to say, to the cloud.
Oh.
The cloud.
So when we talk about conversion, there's an element of crisis attached to it. So when you say that the government is sort of moving people's hands to convert their title, is it that, let's say I choose not to comply, will I be hindered from doing a simple charge or a transfer on my sublease, selling it to someone? Will I be hindered by the lands office?
Yeah, for sure, Mercy. You see, the reason why remember the government is trying to go to digitalize most of its transactions, and one of it being the land transactions on the 𝗛𝗀𝗆𝗆 platform. So you see, once you have your title converted into a sectional title, remember, a separate digital register is open for this particular sectional title. And therefore, for example, if you want to search it on the 𝗛𝗆𝗆 platform, if it is a title that has been converted already, you will have access to that information. But if it is a title that has not been converted, you will not have access to it. So there are two things here. One, you will not be able to do any land transaction on the 𝗛𝗆𝗆 platform because, quote unquote, it's not a recognized digital, it is not recognized in the digital record. And two, you will not even be able to charge. For example, you want to use your title to get loan. Most banks now are embracing the technology that the government is putting in place. If they want to conduct search, they will not do manual. They'll have to go to the 𝗛𝗆𝗆 platform. So it would be difficult for you to charge your property because even the charging process itself is being done on the 𝗛𝗆𝗆 platform. Yes.
So let's say me as an apartment owner on 4th floor, apartment 4A, can I convert my sublease alone, or do I have to have the active participation of everyone in the development and even deal with the mother title itself, or how do we go about this conversion process?
In order for you to be able to successfully complete the conversion process, for example, you're holding a sublease, remember there is a mother title in place. And the first requirement would be for you to convert the mother title.
Okay.
Once you convert the mother title, remember, the register for the mother title will be closed. Once it is closed, we say there is no reversionary interest to that title. And therefore, subsequent units, sectional titles will be released. And one of those sectional titles belonging to you, you can now proceed to do you can now proceed to do any other thing that you want to do from it.
So if we as apartment owners are ready to move, but we've been receiving non-cooperation from the management company, are we required to physically retrieve that title from the management company in order to do the conversion? Or there's an alternative way in which apartment owners can actually convert that mother title?
You see, while theoretically, you can say we can go to the office and retrieve and do that and all that, but you actually don't know where exactly the title is.
Yes.
So there are instances when, for example, the developer would want to hold onto the title. Maybe you have your own internal disputes,
Yes.
or maybe the property. There are so many other reasons that the developer would, but if the developer has refused to release the mother title in order for you to be able to conduct the subsequent tasks, then the Sectional Properties Act has already provided an alternative option where the registrar can dispense of that requirement of having to submit the mother title. And how does the registrar do? The registrar will do a gazette notice, give 60 days, will issue a 60 days notice on the Kenya Gazette. If there is no any valid objection, then he will proceed to proceed with the subsequent process.
But Hassan, there are instances whereby an apartment owner might not exactly be holding on to the original document, the original sublease document, such as maybe it is charged to a bank. So maybe the bank is currently holding on to it. Are there ways of going about this in ensuring that that unit actually cooperates? Because you had mentioned conversion is a joint process. You cannot do conversion for one unit. It has to be joint. So to ensure that this unit that is actually charged collaborates in the process, how do you go about dealing with the bank?
Yes, this is on a day-to-day basis, something that we handle in the office, and most banks allow for that, where they can release the title. You proceed with the conversion process, but of course there's an undertaking that you will have to be given. One would be that you're giving an undertaking that once the conversion has been done, you will bring back the title.
Okay.
Because it's a charged title.
Yes.
And it's the security that the bank would need as a guarantee that payment would be done. Where you fail, then they could decide to do, to take other, basically to look at other avenues of recovering their money.
So let's say us as apartment owners, 24 of us, we've agreed, we've been told about the cost implications. We're like, okay, 70,000 per apartment it's doable. You can just deduct it from our service charge. So what is the first step that actually happens in this conversion process? Okay.
Remember, you have your sublease title.
Yes.
All of you.
Yes.
And you would be required to convert. In order for you to do the conversion process, you would first be required to get a surveyor.
Okay.
So once you have a surveyor, the surveyor will come to the ground, see the actual, the actual land and the properties on it. And then the surveyor will now be required to come up with a sectional plan.
Yes.
And then submit the sectional plan to the county for approval. And once you have the sectional plan out, you'll now then be required, all of you, to now submit. Sectional plan means georeferencing has been done.
Yes.
Okay, where you've actually you've identified the demarcations, the coordinates for the place, and then you can get it on the digital platform. Once the sectional plan is out, that's when you'll now be required to submit your subleases.
Yes.
For now conversion to be done, and you're issued with the sectional titles.
And roughly how long does this process take from the point of agreement by the apartment owners? How long does this conversion process ideally take? From
experience, it would take between 3 to 6 months. But remember, if, for example, you have less than 21, your sublease is less than 21 years, then you would have a process that first you'll be required to get an extension. Okay, if for example it is 15 or 18, you'll be required to get an extension so that you fit to the 21-year bracket, and then you start the other process.
Okay.
Yeah, so it could take longer for someone who would be required to first get extension as compared to someone who would directly go to the...
True, because there's something derailing the process.
There's something
Makes sense.
derailing the process.
So let's say we do the process 3 to 6 months, the sectional titles are out. What happens to the management company that was in existence? Because I'm assuming as apartment owners, we were being governed by a management company. Now we've moved from the concept of management company to sectional properties. What happens to this management company? Because it's not mentioned under the Sectional Properties Act.
You see, once the law requires the establishment of a corporation,
Okay.
this corporation is supposed to govern the unit owners. And remember, the management company having not been mentioned in the current act, it would mean it has to die.
Okay.
And if you're saying that it has to die, it means all the assets, the liability, the contracts have to be transferred to the corporation. And then the corporation will proceed from there. So it becomes obsolete. It does not exist.
Are you a shareholder in this management company, or what are you in this management company?
In this management company, now you have an interest where you have a certain share. There's a unit factor in the sectional title. And this unit factor says this is a percentage that you own in the property.
Oh, okay. So you don't, as previously in management company, you had to do the whole transfer share deed and get original share certificates.
Yes.
Is this one automatic that as long as you appear on the sectional, you have a sectional title, is it automatic that you become a member, or is there a process you have to do for you to be considered part of this corporation?
For you to become a member of the corporation, one, you must be a unit owner.
Yes.
You must be someone who subscribes to the bylaws of that institution, because if you're not a unit owner, you can't automatically become a member of the corporation.
Yes.
So,
if you're a developer, management company, or apartment owner, and you're stuck on this conversion crisis, please do not navigate this on your own. Here at Sectional Titles Advisory Centre, we're here to hold your hand and help you audit your documents. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us on our contact details here, provided below. Today, we've discussed how you'll get your title. But what happens the next day when you need to know if you can paint your building a certain color or own a pet? We are going to discuss the move from management company to corporation and what this means when it means voting rights and all that. So join us in our next episode. I'm 𝗶𝗶𝗿𝗂𝗶𝗿𝗂𝗶, and I'll see you in our next.